Hello there, this is DBT, and these are the rooms. And alright, it's time to do a sort of a new series in the channel. As you can see by the title of the video, this is DBT's Wishlist for Asphalt 8. Now, this is a series that I will be, releasing periodically, where I'm just gonna basically ramble about some things that I wish were added or changed or whatever in the game. And this is absolutely 100% just my personal opinion, my personal wishes. I'm not saying that this in any way is objectively gonna make the game any better, in particular this video, cause while I plan to cover some things that I do believe that would improve the game, this video in particular, I'm just gonna focus on the thing that I love about racing games, and that is Lambos. Oh yeah. Just to give you a little bit of a glimpse, later I'm going to be talking about some of the track variations that I would like to see, some improvements for career and single player playability. So there's even some game modes that I have thought and all of that. Obviously these are just ideas that I have, right? I don't expect GameLoft to ever really add them, but hey, a man can wish. But as far as what you're seeing right now on the screen, these are some random races that I recorded about a week ago from the time that you are watching this. These are just some multiplayer races that I was doing to do my daily objectives, or I should say my daily dose of races. And all of these races are actually sequential, so I did not handpick them or anything. This is just one after the other. So the first race with the SCV-12 I won, beautiful, but the rest you're gonna see I get a lot of mixed results. But hey, that's just how multiplayer goes for a person like me that doesn't have amazing skills. But anyway, back to the topic that we're gonna be talking about, which is Lambos. Now, this game does have a lot of Lambos in it. It has in fact 21 Lambos, and that is an absolutely beautiful amount of them, but it's never enough. DBT wants more Lambos, and which Lambos do I want to have? Well, how about we start it up? How about we start a list? The first Lambo that I would love to see added in the game, it's the Lamborghini Diablo. And I don't mind which version of the Diablo. It could be the original, or maybe the Lamborghini Diablo Super Veloce, or even perhaps the Diablo GT, or is it GTR? I think it's GTR, I'm not sure. I think there's both names, probably one road legal, whatever it is. I don't mind whichever version of the Diablo, I would be okay with seeing it. But why do I want a Diablo? Well, it has to do with the fact that it's the only V12 of the modern supercar type of Lambos that we're missing. We have basically every V12 represented, at least from the flagships. We have the Miura, then we have the Countach, and we're missing the Diablo. Then from there was the Murcielago, and then the Aventador. So we have basically all of the V12s except, the main V12s except the Diablo. So that's why I want to see one of the Diablos. I really, like I said, I would prefer honestly if it was the Super Veloce, because if you know anything about me, it was the Super Veloce that made me fall in love with Lamborghini back in Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit. So of course I'm gonna be biased to wanting to see that one, but I would not be bothered if they added any of the others. So long as there's a Diablo, that would be fantastic. And I would put it probably on Class C. It's a beautiful car, but it's old. So I think a C class would be dope. And while I'm talking about that, I think the Countach should probably be rebalanced, either to upper D or stay in low C. But make it competitive, because Jesus Christ, the way it is right now, it's no good. But anyway, let's move on to the next Lambo in my list. And that is the Lamborghini Reventon. Now, the reason why I picked this one is because it's the only Lambo that is missing from the 5 important few-offs by Lamborghini. Now, what are these 5 few-offs? I'll tell you what they are in chronological order as to when they were shown or showcased to the world. First was the Reventon in 2007, then there was the Sesto Elemento in 2010, then Veneno 2013, Centenario in 2016, and finally the Sian 2019. Now, these are, like I said, few-offs. They are production, or they were production vehicles. They were not just concept. They were created, they were released, they were being sold. And yeah, they're very significant, and I find also kind of curious that they all were released 3 years apart. But anyway, that's something else completely. But I really wish that Reventon was in here, because that would make it so that this game has all of those 5. Because a lot of other racing games that I play, where there's Lambos, they have maybe 3 of them, 4 of them at most, but no game have I found that has all 5 of them. So that would be fantastic. And it's a bit more curious to me the fact that the Reventon the Reventon is present in Asphalt 7. And then they also added it in Asphalt 9, the Roadster version, but still, it's the Reventon. So I really wish they were to bring it into Asphalt 8 just to complete the collection. Just please let it be the Coupe, not the Roadster, okay? Just wanted to put that out there. So as far as where would I put the car, probably in Class B. Where exactly? I don't know. It could be in the 1680 or even could be in the 1590 bracket. I really don't mind either way. But so long as it's competitive, I would be okay. And while I'm talking about those brackets, for the love of God, please, can Gameloft already rebalance the Murcielago? Holy crap, that poor little thing is just suffering over there in that weird ass rank. But anyway, the third Lambo that I would love to see in the game is the SC18. And if the name sounds familiar, that is because it's actually kind of on the same family of vehicles as the SCV12, the green car that I was driving in the previous races, and the SC20, that white roofless one that is already in the game. And precisely because of that is why I'm a bit puzzled as to why the SC18 is not in the game yet. SC stands, by the way, for Squadra Corsa, which is the racing division for Lamborghini. These 3 cars were developed by that division, along with some customer input, at least for the SC18 and SC20. So it puzzles me that it's not in the game yet, because it is already in Asphalt 9. So I don't know why it was never ported into Asphalt 8. Maybe it has something to do with licensing. Perhaps back then when they negotiated it, it was specifically just for Asphalt 9, while nowadays it seems that whenever they negotiate a license for a car, they make it so that it's it basically gets added in both games, Asphalt 8 and Asphalt 9. So maybe that's why the SC18 is not in Asphalt 8 yet. But it's a beautiful car. It's a really, really beautiful car, and I really wish that it was added over here. It's just nice, period. Hopefully with color options, because I love how it looks with this black and red livery, but you know, I also like the options in colors. That would be pretty dope. And I would put that car probably also in Class A, just so that it stays it fits very nicely with the SCV12 and the SC20. You know, all 3 of the SC cars to be in the same bracket, because why the hell not? And the last Lambo that I would absolutely love to see in this game is, of course, the Lamborghini Vision GT. Now, I'm really not super hopeful to see this car added in the game anytime soon, because I'm pretty sure that it's probably under a very restrictive or exclusive deal or license for Gran Turismo, since that is the game that these cars, the Vision GTs, were designed for. And you know, those cars, because you know that a lot of brands created their own Vision cars. They have been featured in different Gran Turismo games over the years, but in specific, the Lambo Vision was only featured very, very, very recently on the latest Gran Turismo game, which I believe is GT7. So yeah, probably the exclusivity deal is still active and is gonna remain active for I don't know how long. But whenever that dies down, I really hope that the car gets added in this game. It would be absolutely fantastic. As to where would I put it? Well, I think it's pretty obvious that that should be a Class S car. That would be the, basically, let's say the king of the Lambos, you know? An 1862 car would be dope. Maybe an Ultimate, so that it kind of competes with... No, I don't know. I'm really... I don't know if it should be Ultimate or not, but it definitely should be a Class S, and I really, really wish I will be able to get it whenever it comes, if it ever comes. But yeah, those are the Lambos that I really wish for them to exist in this game, for the reasons that I already provided. But as you can see, there's still some video left. Why is that? Well, that is because we're going to be looking at other Lambos that I don't believe that they should be added in the game. again, as per usual, a little bit of a disclaimer. All of this is just my personal opinion. You are free to disagree with it. But from my perspective, these Lambos just wouldn't work, or I just don't like them. That's basically it. And first we will start with the Aventador J. Now this Lambo, it's a very special one in the sense that it's a one-off. There's only one Aventador J. I just don't like it. And that is the entire reason why I wouldn't like to see it in the game. I mean, if it was ever added, I would probably still get it. I'd definitely get it, I should say that. But I'm not particularly enthused. I've said it since the SC20 that I don't like cars that don't have roofs, and I don't like cars that don't have windshields. I don't like that entire thing with the, what do they call it? The Barqueta? I don't even know what it is. But whatever it is, yeah, I don't like this style of cars. But then again, like I said, it's a very unique Lambo in real life, so I can see how they could add it. But honestly, I just don't care for it. That's it. Another Lambo that for a moment I thought that maybe I would like to see, but then I decided against. It's the Lamborghini Aventador Ultimate. Now, this is the last version, or let's say even the last hurrah of the Aventador family, which obviously comprises a bunch of cars: the regular Aventador, the Aventador S, the Aventador SV, Aventador SVJ, the Aventador J, and now the Aventador Ultimate. So yeah, it's a lot of Lambos, and we already have 3 of those Aventadors, and like I said, if they ever add the Aventador J, that would be yet another one. We only would be missing the Aventador S and the Ultimate, but anyway, that is precisely why I don't think this should be added. At least, you know, comparatively speaking, the Aventador to the Aventador SV, you can see a little bit of a difference with the wing and the air duct, I mean the air vents and all that. Then the Aventador J also has a different design in the front, on the back, the wing, but the jump from the regular Aventador, the LP700, to the Aventador S, it's you know, as far as internals and all of that, yeah, sure, it's a big increment, but as far as looks, it's very similar looking, and it's the same situation with the Aventador Ultimate. For somebody that has a Lamborghini trained eye, yeah, you will be able to spot the differences. Like, oh yeah, I can see that the splitter is different, maybe the diffuser, maybe the exhaust and all of that. But for the majority of people, they're just gonna be like, oh, it's another Aventador and it looks pretty much the same as the last one, so who cares? So yeah, that's why I think the Ultimate, it really wouldn't necessarily need to be added. But in the other hand, I thought about it because, you know, being the very last of the naturally aspirated V12s, exclusively about combustion engines, because from this point onwards, the upcoming flagship are gonna be hybrid. So yeah, the Ultimate is supposed to be basically the last V12 Aventador. So yeah, I don't know. I just don't really see a reason to have it. It's a cool car for sure, but yeah, I think it would be a bit redundant with the standard Aventador that we already have. If the Ultimate were to be added, yeah, probably in Class A, just for the sake of fitting in where the rest of the Aventadors are. Similar to the Aventador situation, another one that I want to sort of exclude is just, in general, the Huracan. Now, I'm not talking about racing Huracans, I'm talking about just a standard road Huracans. And, you know, we already have the regular one, which is the, what, LP610-4. And obviously we also have the Super Trofeo Evo, but that's, again, the racing, and we will talk about that in a second. But, you know, the Huracan has so many versions that I just don't really think we need more. Because, you know, they could add the Evo, but again, that's just a little bit of aero changes. Then they could add the rear-wheel drive version of the Huracan, but come on, it's just the same car, just only drives rear-wheel drive instead of four-wheel. And then obviously there's also things like the Performante, if you wish, and now there's also the Technica. Although the Technica does look a little bit different, it has also its little wing and all of that, but honestly it's another Huracan. And while from the regular Huracans, I think the Technica would be the more interesting one, just, you know, because it actually has a more pronouncedly different body. It's still a Huracan, so I think that's enough with them. You know, we don't really need 14 versions of the Huracan in the game. Now, I say that, but I do want to talk in a separate point about the racing Huracans. Which brings me to the whole idea of the Huracan Super Trofeo Evo 2, which is obviously the evolution of the Super Trofeo Evo that we already have. So there's obviously some changes in the aero and performance in the IRL version of the car and all of that, but honestly, visually speaking, it's just very similar to the already existing Stevo that we already have in the game. But that also kind of brought me to the idea of maybe should we have a Huracan STO? The STO is the Super Trofeo Omologato, which means that it's the homologated version of the racing car for a road version, because that's part of the requirements in order to qualify in those races, to have the race version and the road version of the car. So they're basically very similar looking, obviously with some difference, because indeed the racing, you know, if we're talking about interiors and things like that, obviously the racing, it's super bare. But as far as the exteriors, which is all that we get to see in Asphalt, they're very similar. And the fact, like I said, the Super Trofeo Evo 2 is very similar already to the Super Trofeo Evo. And the fact that the STO is already very similar to the Super Trofeo Evo 2, I mean, they're all kind of the same, right? So I don't think we need more of that either, at least not right now. Maybe when the Super Trofeo Evo 4 comes out or something and it looks significantly different, maybe we should reconsider. But for the time being, I think we're fine with Huracans, be it the regular ones or the racing ones. And that finally brings me to the last point that I wanted to talk about, and that is roadsters, spider, convertibles, whatever. Please, no. None of those. Asphalt 9, I don't know why, focused a lot in those type of cars. They brought, for example, Asphalt 9 has the Huracan Spider, it has the SVJ Roadster, it has the Reventon Roadster, it has the Murcielago Roadster, I think it's also Roadster. So I don't know why they focus so much on roadsters and convertibles in that game, but hey, whatever. Over here in Asphalt 8, we're doing pretty good with focusing mostly in coupes, so let's leave it at coupes, please. We don't need all of the cars that we already have, but also have the roadster version. Because yeah, there are roadsters for the Centenario, there's roadster for the Cian, for the Veneno, for the Reventon. I think from those 5, the only one that doesn't have it is the Sesto Elemento, because obviously that's a full-on racing car. It's not road legal, so no need to have a roadster version. But yeah, we don't need some of those. So no roadster, please. Let's just leave it at that. And that concludes the first episode on this new series, DBT's Wishlist for Asphalt 8. Title in progress. Like I said, this was gonna be the most subjective one, just based on personal preference of the cars that I like and that I don't like, of the brand that I love. So yeah, I just wanted to make that. The next videos that I will do on this series will tackle, like I mentioned before, some other topics that I believe would actually improve the game. But you know, the first one had to be Lambos, because that's the only thing that I care about for these racing games. What can I say? If you enjoyed this episode, why don't you hit the like button? It helps me to know that you're interested in seeing some of these ideas that I have, whether they're good or bad. And if you have some thoughts on this stuff, why don't you let me know in the comments? I would love to hear what you think should be added in respect to Lamborghinis. We're not talking about different brands, at least not at the moment. But yeah, why don't you tell me in the comments if you're thinking of any other Lambo that you think should be added that isn't already kind of represented in the game, or whatever ideas that you have. Yeah, type them down in the comments. Also, don't forget to check my Discord server, the House of Rooms. Link is in the description. You know, we talk about this game, Asphalt 9, and other racing games, car spotting, some diecast collecting, and all of that good stuff. So yeah, check it out. It's a pretty chill place. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, everybody, and stay safe. Bye bye.